Anti-Afro Svengalis. I thought I would add my own description of prevailing because we've heard it's common in the Umar Johnson sector that you hear comments like kicking people's teeth out, knocking the rest of your teeth out, pushing buttons, pulling levers, running people over with cars, hitting people with bats, forcing people onto their knees, forcing their friends and family to watch them get beat down, pistol whipping. All these things we've heard, these are responses when subjects just get so frustrated because they can't seem to get you to do what they want you to do. But I'm adding mine. I'm adding put them on the ground. What do you think about that? Do you think it's a good idea to put them on the ground? Well, here's a description that you're seeing on the screen of put them on the ground. But you can look at put them on the ground in more than one way. And I thought I would share with you my definition that I was thinking about when I just reminisced a very astonishing occurrence. I want to share it with you. So just sit back and just watch and listen. And I'm going to come back and talk more about putting them on the ground. Stay tuned and I will return.
He's got the start. Now can he sustain it? Jackson's leading and so on the far side Olizar. It's Jackson from Oliyar. These two and Oliyar and Jackson just slightly ahead of the Latvian and it's going to be very close. And Jackson is the champion. Oliyar gets the silver. And I think Swartov was coming through very quickly, but this man is the champion for the fourth time. Oh, it was superb. What a start he got. We always knew Oliyar would put pressure on. It was a brilliant run, 13.23, and a little nod to the crowd. And that from Swartov, the big man, who will race against him no more. Colin Jackson is the European champion once again. Nadezhda Chitsova in the shot put and Heike Drexler in the long jump. And now you can add the name of Colin Jackson. And that's Finna. And Finna may well be in with a chance of a medal there. I don't know who was third, to be quite honest with you. But the first and second, the gold and silver, were clear to me. Colin Jackson, for the fourth time, is the European champion. Over the years, just one medal has escaped, and that was the Olympic gold. Remember, he was the Olympic silver medal in 1988. He's won everything else, a couple of world titles, 4 Europeans, he's won 2 Commonwealths. He's done it all. He is one of the greats of athletics, let alone the high hurdles. One of the greats, a brilliant, brilliant competitor. He's deserved his success. He's worked hard at it. And my goodness, he is still the world record holder, remember, but he'll have enjoyed that. And Maury Plant, our man down at trackside, greets him.
Did you see? Here's another description of putting him on the ground. Colin Jackson. Shout out to Colin Jackson. You heard the description. I can't add much more than that. But I will say he is a class act. Well, maybe I shouldn't say act. The real deal, a motivational speaker. He's got something else I would like for you to hear.
But don't get too confident and too cocky, because if you come too confident and a little bit too arrogant, it may come back and haunt you. And it certainly did, because during the second round, I caught 2 or 3 hurdles quite badly, and it made me rip my oblique, my left oblique muscle, tore it completely. So that was the end of my chance of really becoming the Olympic champion.
He did literally put him on the ground. Now, in the first clip you saw, he put him on the ground, but then he's telling everyone about how he got full of himself and got his ass whooped. That's basically what he's saying. So there's different ways to use these descriptions. They don't always need to represent violence. Or do they even need to represent violence? I mean, when do you really need to make those statements? I think it's hilarious how there are those who try to get some satisfaction by thinking we are fearful to the point where we're going to be obedient and just not deal with the situation. Well, like I said before, there has to be a situation to deal with. We're just following right into a trap whenever somebody tries to act like they've got some issue with us and they don't, and they want to escalate it to violence. that's not a wise choice. It's about choices. We're going to make wise choices that don't impact our future or our present. We can follow right along, and what's going to happen? We're going to incur consequences. So making the right decision isn't something that we're ever going to be ashamed of. Whoever can ridicule and laugh and try to pretend as if we're afraid. But there's one thing that cannot ever be denied. There is nobody walking the face of this earth who can beat up everybody that they're threatening. Nobody can beat up everybody in the world. And somebody's voice is not an indicator of whether or not they're able to physically defend themselves. I mean, you got fools up here threatening wrestlers, championship wrestlers, and those who can bench 315 pounds. Are you sure? If you really want to get it down to it, I mean, again, you can't beat up the whole world. You can't take on everybody you're threatening. I mean, but then again, it's only one side that's taken that approach. Just because somebody does not fly off the handle doesn't mean they can't handle themselves physically. Use that example with the overwhelming majority of martial artists, not MMA fighters, martial artists. They don't go around picking street fights and they don't go around threatening to kick people's asses. They don't need to do that because that's not the primary goal for martial arts. It's a whole other objective. But if need be, they'll do what they need to do, but they don't go looking for fights. Again, nobody can beat up the entire world. And nobody can take everybody successfully that they're threatening. It's just a very silly, childish, and a losing game to play. Words are never legally justifiable when it comes to lashing out physically. So it's going to have to be justifiable self-defense. But I thought I would use these descriptors. When you talk about putting people on the ground, getting asses whooped, I don't know if I'd go as far as saying kicking teeth out, but he sure put them on the ground. I prefer to use terminology that drives the point home without violence. So I think if people are going to go about using those terms, I think it's preferable that they use those terms in an environment where those that they're dealing with don't mind hearing those terms. But when you start mixing it together, then it becomes a problem. How often have we heard what some might call overreaction by whites? They just get scared when they hear other people, especially black people, raising their voice. They get scared when they see more than two black people standing around. They think there's going to be some sort of revolt. But that doesn't excuse anybody taken for granted just because you're dealing with other black folks that threats of violence are acceptable. Not everybody has been raised the same. Yes, many people have been raised like each other. Many people haven't. It's just not a good look, and it's never recommended to make those statements because they can always be misconstrued. Then if something is misconstrued, it's just going to depend on who's dealing with the situation. But I thought this was an excellent example to use. And last but not least, when you heard Colin Jackson speaking, I'm sure it was a breath of fresh air to hear someone speaking and you actually can understand them, although they're not from our country, because that hasn't been our experience around here lately. You have some of these subjects acting as if they can dictate to us all overseas and we're supposed to listen. Well, at least we should be able to understand what the hell they're saying. Now, Colin Jackson is from Wales. He's Welsh. Just the same. He has an accent. An accent shouldn't matter. What matters is you should be able to properly form your words if you're going to deliver a message. Accent itself doesn't matter. But if you're going to be going off on folks and trying to step to people and trying to get a message across, at least you can have some respect and deliver that message with clarity, or don't say it at all. And in this instance, these are messages that nobody needs to hear. Dictating to Black Americans in the United States, ADOS, what we should be doing, and feeling for some reason, because they're colonizer flunkies, that we should be listening. First off, make sure people understand what the hell you're saying, and it might be a possibility. They might listen. Get it together. Quit trying to order people around who don't give a shit about what you say and aren't even listening to you to begin with. Who keeps bringing up who? Who keeps talking about who? The answer is very easy. It's accessible. So I hope you gathered some knowledge and understanding from this lesson. I certainly have. In the meantime, folks, you know the drill. Buyer beware.